So I'm using a size I hook and worsted weight yarn here. And the pattern calls for slightly smaller, but I figured for the video's sake it'd be easier. Here's the graph, and we're going to start in the bottom right corner. So we're just going to begin with a standard slip knot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and put it onto my hook. So to start off a mini corner to corner, you're going to chain 4, and remember we're using half double crochets. So this is 3, 4, and then you're going to half double crochet in the third, not that one, the third one from the hook. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So you yarn over, put it into the third, pull through, and complete your half double crochet. And then we're going to do another half double crochet in that 4th chain and pull through. So this is going to be the beginning part of your gray square, which is the first one. So to go on to the next one, we're actually not going to complete that stitch. We're going to use our green yarn and use that to complete the stitch so that we can convert over to the green. So it's a little loose at first. So now to begin the next one, you're going to do the same thing and chain 4. You're going to turn your square so that you're going in the right direction. Sorry for all these yarn pieces. Now what I do with the tail of the other yarn is I put it over so that I can later carry that. So we're going to chain 4. And now you're going to half double crochet into the third, and this is how you start every new square line. So we're going to half double crochet again in the 4th, and this will give you 3 half double crochets if you count your turning chain. So it's 3 half double crochets in every square. So now what you see is I'm tucking the gray yarn over and moving on to the next. So see that chain space? That is where we're going to do a slip stitch. So you slip stitch 1, and now you're going to start your new square. And by doing this, you chain 2 to be the first of the half double crochets. Now you're going to half double crochet 2 times. It's 1, and that's 2. Now you have 2 squares. So you can compare it to the chart. See, that's your first in that 1-to-1 box. Now these top green ones are the 2 ones. So every row you're increasing by 1 square, and each square is consisting of 3 half double crochets, and in the middle ones the chain 2 is considered the half double crochet. So now we're turning our work, and we're going to create our new square, which means you need to chain 4 because we're beginning a new block. So remember to half double crochet in the 3rd from the hook. And 1 more. And that is your first square in the 3 block. Now you're going to look for that slip stitch. I'm sorry, the chain space, and now you're going to slip stitch into it. So because I'm using a larger hook, it's a little easier to see. When you scale down, it's a little harder. So you're going to chain 2 half double crochets, and that will make your second square. In the last one, you're going to do the same thing. Find your chain space, and you're going to slip stitch to connect them, like so. And now you're going to go on to your chain 2, half double crochet 2. And now with this one, this is when we bring up that gray yarn. So see it down here. We're going to pull it up and complete our stitch with the gray so that we can move on to our next round. So we're going to turn, bring up that green tail so it's out of your way, and this is just called carrying the yarn up. And we're just going to continue as we've been doing, except this time we're going back to the gray to create our next pattern, our next stripe in the pattern. So you did your chain 4, your half double crochet in the third, your half double crochet in the fourth chain. Now we're just going to take this yarn and tuck it right there, slip stitch, and then continue our squares. Okay, so now let's just compare to our graph that we have. So now you can see that we've been increasing by 1 square each time. And we just completed our 4th row. And you can see how it's starting to form into our mug rug. So now as we continue, you can see what it looks like to carry the yarn on the wrong side. You can see there's little tails that kind of go up, and on the right side you don't see it as much. It kind of blends in a little bit. It doesn't really bother me, but if it's something that kind of bothers you, instead of carrying the yarn up like this, you can just choose to cut the yarn after each color and weave in the ends when you're done. Thank you guys so much. I really hope this was helpful for those who weren't as familiar with this technique, doing the corner to corner method. There are other parts to this technique, and one of them is knowing how to decrease the squares, which I can definitely do a video on sometime this week. I also added to my blog some really good tutorials on the corner to corner method that might go into a little bit more detail than I did here. Those are very helpful. But I hope you guys like this, and please let me know if you want to see more kind of free patterns and tutorials here on IGTV. I really had fun